The Great Resignation is on, and that means folks in the tech industry are moving from job to job all the time now. So let me give you some advice from the other side of the interviewing table in how to optimize that use of that awkward little segment at the end of the interview where I ask you, do you have any more questions about this job? A lot of folks are really tired at this point, and they'll just ask questions like, what does a day in the life look like for you? Or are there any questions that I could have asked but didn't? What I encourage you to do actually is have your questions on your phone. And so when you get to that point in the interview, you can just kind of bring that up and you'll have the questions right there and you don't have to go fumbling around looking for them. And to seed you with some great questions, I'll give you 5 ideas. So the first one is, how do we make money? Most people don't ask this. And you are actually judged on the questions that you ask at this point. And this is a really good question to ask because it tells the interviewer that you have an interest in the business side of the house and not just the bits and the bytes. It also gives you an opportunity to understand what value you and your team are going to bring to the company, and understanding that value is key to job satisfaction. The second question I love to see asked is, what will I be doing on day one? It's a great question for a manager or a team lead, and they should be able to give you a very concise answer. The point of this question is to minimize the delta between what you think the job is and what the job actually is. Because if that delta is really large, then you're going to have some job dissatisfaction. This isn't the job that I signed up for, or whatever. So make sure to ask that question and get some detailed answers. So another important question to ask of your interviewer is, will I be working with you? Some companies do interview teams, which means you've got a team of folks who interviews for every team in the company. And that's great for the company. It allows them to normalize the responses and train up just one set of interviewers. But it's not that great for the candidate. You don't actually get to meet the people that you'll really be working with. So if that's the case, you want to make sure to talk to your HR person or your recruiter to get some face time with the actual people you'll be really working with day to day. Another really important question to ask is, how much input does my team have on its features? Some teams are very autonomous. They manage all the features, they manage all the prioritizations. Other teams are more product or business driven. It's a really important thing to understand how much autonomy your team has, because autonomy is another key to job satisfaction. Another good question to ask is, how has your tech stack evolved over time? This will let you know how much the company invests in technology, keeping up with tech debt, because we know that technology changes so rapidly. And this will give you an indication of where your resume is going to be after the 1 to 3 to 5 years that you spend on this job, since most folks learn the majority of their tech skills on the job. And here's a bonus question for you. How is your team organized? So some teams do the pizza box model thing, where you've got small teams with QA and dev and project management and product management all in there working towards one business goal. You've got other teams that are doing the pool programming thing, where programmers go from team to team over time. There's really no right or wrong answer on this one. It's really just a matter of your personal preference. Some folks like to stay with one team long term, and other folks like to jump around and get lots of different experience. Of course, these questions are pretty generic and based on my own personal experience. And I suggest that you go back through your own history and think about the things that you didn't like in the job, and then think about the questions that you could have asked during the interview to see that issue before you actually jumped into that job. Of course, in the meantime, I would love to hear about the questions that you ask in the comment section down below. Hit that like button if you like this video, hit the subscribe button if you really like the video, and click on that bell and you'll be notified the next time a new Blue Collar Coder video comes out.